Good morning. I'm Howard Hale, and thanks for joining me for today's edition of the Horseman's Corner. On the program today, a couple of outstanding horsemen for you, Craig Cameron and Ricky Quinn. Let's get right into the program with our first guest. Our guest today is an outstanding horseman and clinician, Craig Cameron, Double Horn Ranch down in Texas, and also has some books out through Western Horseman. Ride Smart is one of them. Is that the only one, or is there another one?
Well, there's another one, produced by Western Horseman magazine. It's called Ride Smarter. So we got Ride Smart and Ride Smarter, and they're both really good books. We really spent a lot of time putting them together, make it easy to understand, and something you can apply on an everyday basis.
Well, I've read the Ride Smart, and I should get the Ride Smarter because I could always stand to be a little bit smarter, Craig.
Yeah, we can all get a little smarter, absolutely. But, like I know that horsemanship is a lifetime, ongoing learning process. The learning never ends, and it seems like one door always opens about 10 or 20 and more doors. So, again, we're always learning, hopefully going and growing and trying to get better.
You had an article, and I believe it was the February Western Horseman, that was really interesting to me, and that really prompted the reason for giving you a call again after, 2 or 3 years. And you always have good information, but this was really interesting. It had to do with riding colts outside. Go into some of the details of what you were talking about, would you?
Well, I think it's just important that, the round pen really has its use and its function, and it's a great place to start colts. It's not a necessity, but I think it's handy. It makes it a little easier on the horse and the person. But, again, you spend too much time in the round pen or just in an arena and an enclosed area. I think you limit the horse's learning ability. I think he can get a little sour. So riding these horses out and just extends their knowledge, Always it gives them some place to go. It gives them something to do. And just because I'm not in an arena doesn't mean I can't work on a stop, a back, a turn, a spin, a roll back, transition, speed control. Well, that's actually probably one of my favorite places to do each and every one of those things. So getting outside is really quite an advantage. And a lot of times when I first start doing that, I'll ride with what I call an escort rider, somebody on an older, experienced horse where that other horse feels comfortable. I can use that other horse as a magnet in so many different ways. And it's just really a great way to get these horses going and really keep their minds fresh and willing to learn.
How soon do you, and I know it varies from horse to horse because they're all different, but how soon do you try to get them outside if you possibly can?
Well, the sooner the better. I think you're exactly correct on that, Howard. It varies from horse to horse. But some horses I might have them outside on the third or fourth ride. Some horses it might be a week or two later. But, not too long. It shouldn't be too long. But, again, you want to be smart about that. And, again, you got to be honest to yourself about your ability and your experience. But as soon as I can, I like getting those horses out. And I tell you what, it gives them, to me, I just get so much confidence in those horses just after a couple of rides out. I feel like I do what I call breaking through with those horses physically, mentally, emotionally, mind, body, and spirit. And, again, it gets them more sure-footed. We take them down the trails. We take them over obstacles. And pretty soon these horses just, man, I'll tell you what, they get to where they're kind of in your back pocket, coming your way, and they get better really quickly by taking them outside.
The person that's riding with you on that older seasoned horse has to be a pretty doggone decent horseman, decent rider too, don't they?
Well, I think they need to have some awareness. I've ridden with people outside before that all of a sudden they weren't turning around looking at me at all. Pretty soon my horse was maybe stalled up or they didn't even pay any attention to it. Or they started trotting and going too fast. My horse was getting a little bit too much speed. And so, again, you bet that guy on that escort horse really needs to have some awareness of what's going on so he can really help you out. He's like a magnet. He's that foundation. He's that rock. And, we all know that horses are herd animals. They find safety in numbers. So sometimes that other guy needs to just stop, or sometimes he needs to speed up or slow down, and he's paying attention to what's happening and what's not happening, and we're adjusting to fit the horse, the situation, and the circumstance, and that changes from moment to moment. So there's all the things to be aware of, and so that guy on that escort horse, he's a big part of that, and needs to really pay attention and be a help out there as you're working and riding outdoors.
What if you don't have somebody that's capable with an escort horse? Do you still like to get them out pretty quickly?
Those are good questions, Howard. And absolutely, I still like to go ahead and go, and I just pay attention. And, in the beginning, I'm using on a colt a lot of one-rein techniques. Sometimes you hand people two reins. The trouble with handing people two reins is then they start pulling on two reins. And the more you pull on the horse, the only time a horse can pull on you is when you pull on him. So as you start pulling on two reins, that horse just braces and starts pulling back. He gets stiff. He's able to just out-pull on you. But again, if you work those one-rein techniques, that's really effective with the snaffle bit. Again, I can take this horse if he gets in a hurry. I can kind of bend him around in circles, switch and go the other direction, and keep that horse in control. So I can go by myself. But the control is the name of the game. And so, again, through experience, I'm feeling of that horse. I'm feeling for that horse. And pretty soon we're feeling together. And I just take my time and end up with a really good ride. And with a good ride, things begin to progress. And each time we get better and better.
Yeah, but that is interesting where you're talking about that buddy horse or the escort horse can be kind of a magnet for the horse's mind at times. Can it be too much of a magnet? What if he's too drawn to the horse?
Well, I don't worry about that too much, If he's too drawn to the horse, I'll just have that guy get behind or get forward, or I'll stop and try to ride circles around him, or just get my horse to ride away and come back, and then go past him. There's all different ways to adjust to fit those situations. So I think pretty soon, again, that other horse becomes a big help to me. Like behind, like the first time I'm going behind, what I'll do is I'll just use one rein. That escort horse is going in front of me. I'll just take that one rein and do like a little 360-degree pivot, and then that horse will want to catch up to that other horse. So that's beautiful. Next time I go to the left, as I make that pivot, he falls behind, then he's wanting to catch up. And if he wants to go past that horse, shoot, I just let him go past. I think one mistake a lot of people make is that horse starts moving forward, and that's when that other guy needs to slow down. I just let him go. Sometimes it's not about slowing the horse down. It's more about just directing where he goes. So sometimes when you start pulling on them, that's when they get nervous, they get scared. That's when they'll buck sometimes. But just going with him, just, having a little trust in that horse and believing in that horse, just going with him, pretty soon, instead of speeding up where all on his own, he's putting effort into slowing down, and he's looking for that other horse, and back he comes. And so, again, it's just, having a good feel, and that's going to come from experience. And as you know, having experience is one thing you can't buy and nobody can give you. So, and, sometimes experience is what you get right after you really needed it. So those things come slow and sure, but hopefully you learn from them.
Well, and your attitude has a lot to do with the horse's attitude, too, I would think.
Absolutely. If you're going to be nervous and scared, I think that horse is going to pick up on that. And, riding young horses, there is an element of danger there. We're dealing with a 1,000-pound animal of prey. So, again, don't take that horse out till you feel like he's ready. In other words, don't ask the horse to do anything he's not ready to do. It's our job to get him ready, and understand when that horse is ready to go out. And when the horse is ready for me to go out, that might not be ready for the same horse, might not be ready for you to go out. So it's a two-way street. It's a partnership. It's the horse and the rider. That's why we call it horse-man-ship. Horse, man or woman, in the relationship you build. So, again, follow your instincts. Make sure things are ready. If you're not ready to go out yet, shoot, just ride in the round pen. Or maybe have your round pen set up in an arena and go from the round pen out into the arena. You're still in a closed area, and so you get things going. And, and you'll know when you're ready. So, again, one of the best pieces of advice I give people is take your time. Don't get in a rush. Go slow. Because sometimes going slow is the fastest way to get where you want to go.
Craig, what age do you like to start these colts? When do you like to start riding them?
Well, I like to start handling them when they're just babies, when they're just foals. I'm just handling them. I want to be a part of their life, just like the wind, the sky, the sun, the birds, their mama. Just be a part of their life naturally, And those young horses got a lot of curiosity, And if you work with that, pretty soon they're looking you up. But actually riding the horses, we like to start when they're 2, and we don't have to. I don't like to rush them. I don't want to have a ram and jam type of horsemanship. Just get these horses started good. Sometimes we'll ride them 2 or 3 months, turn them out a couple of months, bring them back, and they'll really do good. And then by the time they're 3, they're really strong. They're getting stronger. I'm not in a rush, in a hurry. I like to make a horse that lasts a lifetime, not just working to death and get where he has joint problems because we push too hard and push too fast and tried to make things happen. When I was a kid, it seems like we started those horses a little bit later when they were 3 and 4. We were still riding those horses when they were 25 and 30, Today we get in a bit of a rush with them, and these horses have joint problems and having to get injected and all that kind of stuff, hock problems, because sometimes I think we're asking a little too much too fast for these horses. It gets to be about the almighty dollar. But, I'm not trying to criticize anybody or anything. I love the competition. I love cutting. I love where rain cow horse and reining. But sometimes I think if we just slow things down a little bit, those horses could do a better job and they'd stay healthy for a lot longer time.
Craig, it's time for us to take a break. Let's get that done, but you folks stay with us. We'll have a lot more in a moment. You're listening to the Horseman's Corner. Welcome back to the Horseman's Corner. I'm Howard Hale. Here's the second segment of today's show. Well, Craig, years ago I roped off a gelding that was 26 years old, healed off from him. You could head off from him at 26, and there was really no reason for me getting rid of him except I got to thinking, gee, he's old, maybe I ought to be riding something younger, but he was still going strong.
That's exactly right. If you take care of them ponies and don't ask for too much too fast, shoot, golly, they can last a long time. They're all different. They're all individuals. Their breeding, their genes, their conformation, all that has a lot to do with it, injuries and stuff. But, a lot of times it's amazing how long some of these horses will really stay healthy, really stay productive for a long time. It amazes me in the horse industry. People want to buy a young horse. They're looking for a 2 or 3 or 4 year. They think a 10-year-old horse is old. He's not old. He's just getting in his prime. They're just getting really smart and really can get gentle and really be good, at 10 years old and shoot. Just like I said, at that point, he might still have 15 years or more of productivity ahead. So, again, don't underestimate some of these horses that got a little dab of age on them. That's when when they really get good.
Well, I kind of think people are the same way, Craig.
You know what, Howard? That is exactly the truth. Look how long it takes us to get what we call maybe savvy or a little bit smart, Takes the old saying, it takes a lifetime to live a lifetime, Just about the time you think you got it all down, you die. So, but, you're right. It takes time to get things figured out. And I think the horses are a lot like us. Some of them mature a little faster than others. I've seen horses that were slow starters that people gave up on. I think they quit on him too quick. He was just a slow starter. Should end up being a great horse, just like some people, are slow starters. So, if you give them a time and work with them as an individual, I think these horses will give it all back to you.
Well, Craig, you've been at this a year or two, but you're still learning, I would assume.
Still rolling like a wheel. Headed this weekend off to New Jersey to do a clinic up there. As soon as we get back, we'll be doing a clinic here at the ranch, and just got back from Santa Fe. working up there, doing a